So we'll start the recording, get into the draft. Oh, so the draft has already been done. Oh, my bad. So we saw, DK did B1 the Rise, which is pretty interesting considering, and they favor, okay, so the Syndra was actually banned. So this is actually a good variation in their drafting, actually. As soon as Syndra banned, they took Rise away, since with the Syndra off the table, means the Rise actually has a much easier time against a lot of the different mid laners that are available, since Syndra is such a good pick into him. Now it does leave LSB up to take a Orianna, but I think so far that's fine. So they get the Lee Sin, so they take the Lee Sin away from the from Canyon. Oh, this Tahm Kench pick really pains me. Really pains me. What they're going to be looking to take, something like a Phelios here, if they're looking to take Tahm Kench. But why wouldn't you just take Thresh with a Phelios? It really doesn't make much sense. Like, a Phelios and Thresh is the bot lane. So I hate that they're focusing on this Tahm Kench so much. I really don't like the pick. So this is still on a patch 11.15 too. So this was just before their playoffs. So, but they are 11 and 6. So both of these teams are actually equal skill right now. They actually take the Diana away now. I really don't like this though, because they're picking the Diana into the Lee Sin, which is very, very risky. So to me, it means that they don't respect Croco on this Lee Sin. Purely because if a Lee Sin plays this matchup correctly, then he can just walk into the jungle, completely ruin Diana. All LSB need to do now to win this draft is to take Orianna and kind of get early prio. I don't know why I keep getting hiccups during recordings, but so yeah. So I think this is actually a pretty bad draft by DK. Like, okay, so we do see the TF coming now. So TF is going to be able to get prio over the Rise, due to the fact that his level 1 clear with his red card is extremely powerful, and Rise really relies on that level 2 to actually get the EQ to really combo it. So okay, I just wanted to make sure music was flowing. Right, so now we see some interesting bans. So, okay. So the Aphelios has not been banned here, which to me sounds crazy. I don't know why they've banned out the Scion here, whereas they could have just banned the Aphelios, which I think would have been way more impactful. So now LSB are looking for kind of their either top or support. I think they'll go top here, or they could potentially look to counter support. But I mean, I might be speaking a little bit too soon, but maybe Tahm Kench is top lane. So maybe DK will actually take... actually, it'll be Jace top, so it makes no sense. Obviously, the Aphelios is going to come out. I think it's super disrespectful by LSB to not ban that Aphelios and then take Kalista. Now, if they get something like Pantheon support, I think this could actually be potentially insane. Or, you know, even another kind of, or even like a Hug Champ, I think that'd be great. We do have the Aphelios come in here now, like we already predicted. So Aphelios Tahm, the only reason they take Tahm is for Aphelios, so I don't know where this Scion ban comes. This second rotation of bans is so important for teams, but you often see them really mess it up. So, so they take the Camille top as well, completely fine to be a... either weak or strong side pick, and you know, she's going to be able to do a lot of damage. The Nasus, I mean, they could have actually taken that. So what I would have actually loved to see DK do here is put the Tahm Kench top, even though it's going to have a terrible time into the Jace, and just take Nasus support. Then like, the Tahm Kench top literally doesn't need to do anything. Like, he can lose so much farm, it really doesn't matter. He just needs to farm with Qs, and he'll You know, he'll get pushed in top, but bot lane is completely unplayable for the Kalista. So it's very risky that they actually decided to pick Kalista here when Nasus is available. But it didn't get punished either, so I think that would have been very, very good. So in terms of comp, I really like LSB's comp. I think LSB's comp is extremely good if they play this properly. If they play through the 2v2 in mid and look to invade the Diana whenever they can, then I think this is a really, really good comp for them. Extremely good. Right, so we see, let's just skip this a little bit. Let's just get into the game. Although this arena is beautiful, or one day I will go to this arena. Like, look how beautiful this is. One day, when we make it, we'll go to this arena. I'll even stream it. Well, I won't stream the game, obviously. You know what I mean. So something's going wrong here with the PC. I don't know what, but let's just jump into the game. It's about to start, I think. Here we go. So DK versus LSB. So let's see how they play this one out. Because again, I really like both comps here. I think I much see. I think if this gets to 25-30 minutes and LSB aren't hard winning, then it's just over for them. Obviously, they've got Rise, Aphelios, and nobody that can actually contest Camille in this side lane. Jace will get completely one shot by her later on into the game. Especially if she goes Trinity Force, which I would really like to see over the Syndra, because even though Syndra does give a lot of armor pen, Trinity Force increases your overall AD, which then means that your true damage of your Q2 actually does more true damage. So it's kind of one of them situations where you don't really need the armor pen from that item, because you just get so much. So in terms of runes, actually, let's have a look at them. So obviously Camille opting with that shield bash grasp, that's pretty standard for Camille. Diana. Now, I don't know. Diana's completely griefing, no? Because she's taking tenacity here when the only thing that she's really going to reduce is the TF stun card, which I do agree that that's a very important ability to get rid of, but I feel like taking tenacity and your runes there just for that. Kallista's ult is a knock-up, it doesn't get reduced by tenacity. The entirety of Gragas's kit is displacements or knock-up, so they also can't get reduced by tenacity. Lee Sin's ult is a displacement, it can't be reduced by tenacity. Jace's E is a knockback, it cannot be reduced by tenacity. So overall, I think this is really, really bad that she's gone with that rune. Now Rise, the water walking I really don't like. I think Gathering Storm is infinitely better. And we do see TF opting into a more defensive secondary tree, which is completely fine. Callista's runes are kind of standard. Gragas is going with the Aftershock, standard again. Taumkench still with that Hail of Blades. Overall, I think this is fairly good. I would have liked to see the life, like I would still kind of have liked to see Bloodline on Aphelios, but he's taken double healing in his secondary, so I can see why he didn't. So let's see what they end up doing now. So already Showmaker getting some pressure on this mid lane, but it doesn't really matter because again, TF can just push in like way easier, and by pushing the first wave in as well, you can make it so that the second will still push back for the cannon. But I'm not sure what he's going for specifically with that, but we will clearly see in a moment. So they do get a really nice trade on bot lane. LSB come out better than that. You are kind of trying to fight a Kalista with a Taumkench. Taumkench is known for being quite squishy early into the game, to be honest. Like, he only becomes quite tanky later on into the game and when he gets items. So, overall, pretty sloppy. And the fact that they even went for that fight, Kalista will always just kind of nail him with so much in those situations. So, again though, they are going to get pushed in bot just because they did get level 2 first, so this is going to push it in now, which is okay, like it's not the end of the world. As we can see here though, there's a lot of kind of skirmishing going on in this mid lane. Khan gets a nice trade against the Jace though, which is good. The problem is Jace's early laning phase is very, very oppressive, but Camille does have the ability to, you know, use her E to get away and play around that more so. So it's not as bad. Now, obviously we can see Khan has a huge win rate on Camille. And a nice KDA as well, to be honest. So it's one of his comfort picks, so we'll probably see him be quite a big factor to winning this game, to be honest. That's what I can presume anyways. So this is a little bit stalemate right now. I mean, it's fine for both teams, to be honest. Both teams actually have, actually, to be fair, now I actually think about it, the scaling for DK side is considerably more. So DK do kind of favor scaling comps, and I think that's a very, very big factor to why they've been so successful for so many years, because if you've always got a scaling factor in your comps, you've always got a way to win the game if that scaling factor is comfortable. Now, Showmaker is, well, like I've said, one of the best mid laners in the entire world, and if you put him on a scaling champion, he is going to be able to survive that laning phase, and he's going to be able to get to a point where he can scale. So when we see him on things like the Rise, like this is why, and even like the Syndra scales pretty well if you're good at Syndra, because her ultimate just gives you the ability to completely one-shot. Now, another thing that I do want to note on this game though is when we do see Showmaker on things like the Syndra, he is the primary AP magic damage dealer. Now, the fact that we have Rise and a Diana this game, because they got the Lee Sin, means that this TF gets a ridiculous amount of value of actually just going Merc Treads, just because they give roughly 20% damage reduction, just because, you know, the earlier amounts of magic resist you get are actually way more important than the later ones. So yeah, overall it's really, really important that he, as we can see now, we just bought them first item, and this is the reason. It's because we've got this double AP threat in mid and jungle, and Rise does also have his root, which can be reduced by those Merc Treads as well. So I don't really know the side of LSB as much. I know Effort Summit. I've never seen Fate before, but I mean, the guy's Fate and he's playing Twisted Fate, so maybe that's kind of where his names come from a little bit. And again, they had this amazing 2v2 with the Lee Sin and TF. As we can see here, TF instantly starts to move with the Lee Sin to kind of clear away any vision that he can. Hopefully he does spot that vision, which is nice. So there is a control ward in this brush with a normal ward right by there for some reason, but as we can see, the Gragas is actually walking around the bottom side of the jungle right now to see if he can get any vision. He does manage to spot them with the plants, and now he's just going to back off because he knows where they are now. And this is important because by using the Scryer's blooms, you get information about the champions that are actually inside that jungle, but on top of that, you'll also get information about what wards they have, what camps they have available. That can be very important, especially if your jungle is counting CS. Now, fortunately, Croco missed that Lee Sin Q there, which was kind of grief, since that would have been a massive amount of damage transferred onto Khan, especially considering Jace has level 6 over her. So we're actually going to see this is going to get very scrappy, because what Khan's going to do now is going to let this wave push in. He's going to clear it off. He's going to reset. He's going to look to come back on a slow push with full gold spent. And then he's going to potentially be able to one-shot the Jace with his ultimate. So that's what I'd like to see from here. He could even use his TP if he wants to come and kind of hold the slow push and get pressure. If this Jace decides he wants to kind of try and diffuse this play, but overall, like, we will see what he wants to do, because Canyon is also in top side of the jungle right now, so he actually has the opportunity to potentially do something here. So we are going to wait and see what happens. There's a big slow push in bot lane, but there's nobody here to really play around the slow push. The TF is actually hovering just in case they decide to commit, say, Can's TP into bot lane with a slow push and do something, but it isn't going to happen. Kalista manages to defuse that slow push entirely, which is very important in the side lane, and now they're going to start getting pressure again. Now, the reason why this pressure is pretty good is, oh, a lovely gank by Croco to completely just kill Khan off. So this was very patient and very controlled. Now, they do know that he is topside, but, you know, and they are actually pinging where Diana is right now. So she's just going to continue farming, and this is kind of one of the problems you get with picking the Diana. Now, Lee Sin isn't opting to invade into the jungle right now, and he's not going that aggressive, but we do see effort here looking to potentially get a Gragas flash E onto the Rise, which, combined with the TF stun card, would be a massive amount of damage. Now, one of the things we can see here, though, is Canyon is actually hard farming like crazy. So he's 60 farm to Lee Sin's 48 right now, which Lee Sin does have a kill, but we are just really looking for Lee Sin to do a little bit more in this early game, especially with a TF mid into an immobile pick like Rise. Like, I feel like focusing the Jace out isn't as important as focusing out this Rise, because it is Showmaker, and I mean, it's Showmaker's Rise, and he is going to scale, so it's really not something that you want to look towards. We can see LSB coming up here, just to again get vision. Like, he's not really looking to do much. He has E. Gragas is a disruptive kind of champion. His role is to just use his E's with a massive amount of haste to just be basically as annoying as possible in a team fight, and that's how you kind of look to win on Gragas. It's not really the amount of damage you are, but it's the amount of disruption you can cause. Now, as we can see here, Kalista's pushing this in bot and going for the instant reset, so I really like this, because they could have got greedy and potentially tried to go for the tower plate, but they're resetting instantly and using that tempo, which is an incredibly important thing in bot lane. Like, oh, she didn't reset. This is really bad. This is really bad that she didn't choose to reset here, because Gragas reset and got a recall timer, but I guess she's just pushing the wave in so that she can go help on Dragon. But I would have liked to see her reset and then come do this later, just because now she has to reset too. Effort is actually rotating into the top lane though, so they don't know the Canyon is there, but this rotation is very good. The Jace has started a fight early knowing that the Gragas is coming, but he doesn't know that the Diana is there. Diana flashes the Gragas E. That's so clean, and actually manages to get the kill because of it. So really nice flash there out of Canyon to avoid that Gragas' E. Otherwise that could have potentially turned a little bit different, even though effort is level 5 right now. I'm not sure they would have actually had the power in a 2v2 to kill people when, you know, they're 2 levels, 3 levels down them in that 2v2. So I think that play was more so that they didn't know where Canyon was and they didn't expect him to be there, and then that's how it ended up working out. So very good by Canyon though, because he did have camps available to farm, and he did take time out of his kind of farming to go and help that top lane situation. So here we can see, I don't think that they know Canyon's in here. So as we can see here now, Canyon manages to get on top of the Jace as he starts to fight in preparation for the Gragas. Absolutely beautiful flash out of Canyon though, and then they managed to chase down Jace. That was instant reaction time from Canyon's flash there, so really nice to see. One thing I don't like though is, let me just see, so we're at 43. Let's just quickly go back and look at the runes once more. So we're at 10:42 in game. I want to see what runes Canyon is running. So I wish they'd get rid of these adverts and show the runes. Aha, so as we can see, this is a really big problem. I really don't like magical footwear hold on, let's just go back to, we're at 10:42. I really don't like these magical footwear on a Diana, because when you're playing Diana, your penetration is so important to get, because if you get it early, then you're going to have more time where nobody has MR to deal with it. Obviously TF does, but you'll still reduce pretty much all of his MR with just with almost entirely with just Soul Boots. But the problem is now she's managed to get this Pro Belt, which is great, but Diana doesn't really want to get kills until she gets to her penetration items, and when she's at level 6, this makes it very, very easy to get kills if you have Soul Shoes. This is going to increase the time that you spend clearing from camp to camp, and also give you a ridiculous amount of penetration, which is exactly what you want. Now, she does get penetration out of this Proto Belt right now, and she has got a magical footwear, which means now she just needs 800 gold to get Soul Shoes anyway. So at this point now, when she gets this 800 gold, it'd be good. It's not kind of it's not terrible going boots, but I just really prefer not to. So, okay, so they try and dive. There's no minions, so that they can't really get that dive off anyway. It's just a complete waste of time, to be honest. But so now what we're looking for is we're just... so Herald is being popped onto bot tower. So DK is going to get a massive gold shift from this, which we can see coming in just a second. So, again, this doesn't really do much in top lane. So, you know, Canyon is now free to roam about. Obviously, he is going to be getting to that 800 gold and resetting soon. I would like if observers would show the gold amount, but they're not right now. She is looking for it. There is a control ward in that brush, though, so she is going to get spotted out when going for the dive. Beryl's still going for it, but this is completely grief considering Showmaker isn't even here yet. So we could have potentially rift walked in, but they were already spotted, so the dive was already gone. And then on the opposite side of the map, Croco really punishing this bot play by killing the Camille top. He also ward hopped in to avoid her healing on a W, so that's a very good micro interaction that he's aware of. So that's very good. So now they're going to go for this dive anyway. The Rise managed to use his ult. It does get shut down by the Destiny out the TF though, and now Aphelios ends up dying because there's no minions to the tower for them to stay. So this is a really good reactive play by LSB, and I think it's because they predicted that the Rise had already gone bot once and he's going to do it again. So really nice macro play by them. And I really think they're putting the pressure on Damwon, considering they are such a good team. I think the pressure is being put on now. So we'll see a replay of this dive. There's nothing much that Khan can really do here. He gets Lee Sin ulted and then instantly Jace burst. The amount of damage that both of those champions do, considering they're very early game prominent, is quite big. So Canyon shows here and gets a Q. Rise ult comes in, but the TF is there instantly. The Callista with the instant ultimate with the Gragas to get him in, which is very good, because if Gragas can get that original knockup, then he doesn't have to use his E to use his ult. So he'll use Callista's knockup from her and then he'll get a nice ult off, and then when they finish the ultimate, he'll then use his E to CC them for even longer. So Callista actually enables Gragas to have even more disruptive power purely because of how her ultimate works. So we also see here that Callista has also gone with the steel caps too. This is, you know, because Aphelios does a massive amount of single target damage, especially when he's on his chakrams. So this is something that we have to take into consideration, and Callista felt the need to go with them boots because of it. Now on top of that, she also has shield bow, which is giving her a lot of lifesteal and that massive shield when she is dropping to a low amount of HP. So very important. Now, are they looking for another dive in bot lane? They're looking to just force this tower in and just get this first tower blood. They're willing to do anything for it, but the entire team are collapsing on them right now. So unless they get a lot off here, this looks like a really bad fight for DK. Showmaker does TP in and he does manage to get straight out, but they manage to catch Fate instantly. Lee Sin gets a kick on Beryl, but it doesn't really connect on anybody else, so it's a bit wasted. This looked like a very scary situation for DK, but they actually played it extremely controlled and extremely slow, and they actually managed to get out without losing anything. Now, they are still trying to force on this tower right now. There's no minions available though, and LSB are just clearing it over and over. They did manage to get the first tower in top lane, so DK are just trying anything that they can to bring that tower differential back. Bot lane now going to reset, which is going to mean Aphelios gets to push this wave in and take the tower here. One thing I would really like to see Aphelios do here though is let this tower kill off the entire wave before he actually takes the tower out, because this cannon will then be wasted to the tower. Or he's just going to leave the minions to finish the tower and reset. I wonder if the minions will get this. They do actually get this. Already though, LSB instantly reset and instantly on the map with this tempo advantage, and they're taking Herald straight away, which it's 16-minute Herald, and there is blue buff in bot lane to take, but TF is probably going to push this wave out, go and get the blue, and then the Lee Sin will probably just clear everything away and then go for this dragon. Now, they are leaving dragons extremely late, so we are looking another 15 minutes before we know what, 15 minutes before that last dragon can be taken, full soul. And that's if they do it now. So the longer this game is progressing, the less and less emphasis there is to get the dragon, which is a shame from LSB side, to be honest, because they've already got that first cloud, which means it's going to be a good soul, since it's going to be either infernal or mountain, and they can use both of them extremely well, especially when they have such an early team comp. So to be honest, okay, so Tahm instantly gets one shot too. This is again another testament to how bad Tahm is as a champion. Like, just gets instantly blown up, even with items. Like, I just think he's really bad. What they're going to do now is they're going to use this Herald to potentially push this tier 1 and then just instantly rotate while Aphelios is actually dealing with it. So now they'll end up picking up the dragon, especially because they have a Callista who again can do a ridiculous amount of damage and has a secondary smite pretty much, so they can basically have massive pressure over these dragons. So it's a real shame to see us at 17 minutes and them only just getting their second. So we'll see what the map spawns as right now. It has spawned as a mountain, so if I am DK right now, what I'm actually looking to do is basically just get every single mountain dragon right now, because if they can get 4 mountains here, they're going to be completely unkillable. Now, one thing that I really don't like to see again is Canyon has opted to go into the Oblivion Orb. Now, this is terrible, and this is really, really bad, because, I mean, Aphelios can proc Grievous Wounds on everybody with his ultimate, which is very, very good, and, you know, it's not as detrimental him going it, whereas Diana, she needs as much penetration as she can get. So the fact that she's going into, she's getting an Oblivion Orb now, not only is the Oblivion Orb kind of pointless, even though she can get it on everybody with her ultimate, it's just kind of one of them sort of items where she's not going to build it into Morello's anytime soon. She does get a really easy pick here. She's not going to be building that Oblivion Orb into Morello's anytime soon, so she's now delaying her mythic bonus spikes, which is very, very bad on Diana. So I don't really think it's going to matter that much, because Canyon is just extremely talented in the jungle. But overall, this is slightly concerning that this is a thing that they were doing even as recently as 11.5, considering Worlds is on our doorstep right now. So Aphelios actually manages to use his Graviton to get a pick on the Callista, which was really, really clean. And now they can potentially just push this in, get this mid tier 1, and then look to just get complete control around this top side of the river. They can't really start Baron yet, and to be honest, LSB can do Baron right now, but they need to know that DK are at the opposite end of the map, or, you know, dead. So they can't really do it. Summit overextending like crazy here. That's what happens when this tier 1 goes. She'll make her collapses on him. Diana and Camille too. So Camille is a lot more effective too when she has follow-up to her ult. Here we see the Rise ult instantly. A lot of faith in the Aphelios. So they also know that the Callista's flash is down here, otherwise they would not commit 2 ultimates to that instantly. Her flash is showing us up here though, so maybe it was available. I'm not entirely sure, but overall, yeah, you don't really want to go for that. Now, I do like what Callista is doing with this build, though. She's got a Negatron cloak, and she's just sitting on it right now, because it's pretty much, well, it is the same amount of MR as what Wit's End gives, and, you know, she does want her Ginzus very, very soon, since Callista doesn't really care too much about critting. She just wants to auto as much as she can, which Ginzus really allows for. So right here, we can see the Croco is coming into this bot lane to try and find Khan. He will find him on this camp, but he won't really get anything out of it. Right now he is down on levels against Diana. Not as much as you think, but Lee Sin doesn't really need levels anywhere near as much as someone like Diana does, especially the gold that Diana gets. Again, I'm also sad to see that Diana has gone into a blasting one instead of getting her alternator spike, just because, we are seeing what's happening here. I completely lost track, but we do see Beryl gets instantly popped. And then a nice ultimate from Diana. She gets instantly kicked out by the Lee Sin, but the damage is already done. Now they're just going to run them down. Aphelios in the backline just doing a ton of damage, and nobody's really there to stop him. The Diana is in the middle of them right now. Really nice stopwatch, and now Rise is just going to run them down too. So a few tower shots. Rise ult is coming in, but Gragas could just E him straight away. They instantly kill Jace. It doesn't even matter. Showmaker could have potentially chased that down, in my opinion, considering Gragas had no flash. Sorry, no mana, but I do think that Showmaker's priority is just reset and then TP to this Baron, and they'll just instantly clear it away. So we can see this happening now. They're just going to instantly rush it. There's no vision from the side of LSB on this objective right now. We get an instant TP coming in from Twisted Fate, though. They're going to see what they can do. Gragas has absolutely no mana, though, so he's completely out of his element. Being here is completely pointless. Look at them taking out the TikTok Baron right now, like... So Gragas is going to try, but they don't have a smite, so this is just complete int. So I think at this point of the game, LSB have just completely given up. Because there's no way that Gragas with no mana and TF should even be stepping up there. They need to be going and getting control of their waves, especially top lane right now. Mid could have also done it, and bot too. Croco, I don't know what he's doing here. This is unbelievable what he's trying. They're just griefing at this point, just feeding them kills for no reason. This is a very clear game where mental is clearly lacking here. So we can see this fight again. TF goes to get a pick on the Aphelios, but Tamkench actually just eats him and gets him straight out. This allows Aphelios to now start doing damage. He has this sniper so that he can snipe from a long way, and it gives him 650 range, so he gets long autos. Nice big ult from the Aphelios and the Diana, even though Diana gets knocked away. Then the Camille runs in and actually manages to lock down the Kalista, which is huge, because that allows the Diana to get in range to just do a massive amount. Now they're running away with absolutely no HP, and the Showmaker actually gets a really good rise ult here to instantly kill the Jace. And then after this is where the Gragas didn't reset, so Gragas and TF are still here for some reason, even though they're not going to do anything. They don't have smite, so now TF and Gragas get instantly taken out, but the replay stopped to go to another fight where nice little pick from Canyon, only a one-man ult though, so it's a little bit rough. It is on the Lee Sin though, so this gets rid of their smite, and now they're going to continue chasing them down. I don't entirely think it was worth that much just for the Lee Sin, especially considering this Jace is shredding their top side, but Jace will be forced to reset soon, since Rise is going to come up and clear that wave, and DK actually have Baron buff available. So what they're going to do is they're going to use Baron buff in 2 lanes right now and just siege them as much as they possibly can with that Aphelios, and they're just going to completely pop off. So at this point, LSB are completely out of it in terms of mental, and they're just falling extremely behind. So I think DK are in an extremely favourable position right now, especially considering LSB are 2k gold down and they have a massive early game comp. So the fact that it's getting to 25 minutes, which as we said in the draft phase, means that DK are now getting to the points where they're on their 2 items. They're very, very strong, and it's about to hit that 25-minute mark. Unfortunately, Diana upgraded to Morelos. I think that's a massive waste of gold, especially considering who is really healing a considerable amount on their team. I mean, Lee Sin does have his Gore Drinker and Kalista does have Shield Bow, but I still don't feel like that is enough to warrant a Morelos on a champion that wants items that can allow them to do more damage. I don't know what this was from Croco. He was trying to get the Aphelios, but I think even if he got on top of him, he wouldn't kill him. So I think it's just completely grief, and he's just completely out of it. Here we see another fight. Croco again jumping in. Like, this guy is aggressive till the end, but he gets completely caught by it. He gets eaten by the Tamkench because of that hail of blades, and then he gets Everfrosted too by the Rise, and then they just instantly kill him. Rise uses Baron buff to instantly reset though, and then come back and stop Jace from taking that inhibitor. So, you know, it was just all round good. Now again, they're still going aggressive. This siege in bot lane right now, there's 3. Lee Sin is looking to reset, and the Jace is looking to reset. Oh, never mind. Okay, so the TF is going to reset instead now. They did just clear the entire top side of Lee Sin's jungle though, but Jace is going to get another tower. So Summer is actually putting in so much work in this kind of split push game. It's so good to see. He might even potentially, no, he can't get the in here, but LSB are actually in a position now where if they can actually get some picks, which I don't think is going to happen, but in an ideal world, if I'm LSB right here, we're looking to get picks and then just take both of those inhibitors that are already exposed, and then from there rotate into pushing mid lane down as 5. So I think that's what they do need to look for. But yeah, so that's kind of the game plan. But again, we're at a 25-minute Rise, we're at a 25-minute Aphelios. It's going to be extremely difficult for them to actually do anything at this point. So, yeah, so we're seeing them push down. Again, Aphelios is just going to push out this wave over and over. Like, his wave clear at this point of the game is actually incredible, along with Rise too. Diana, again, another defensive item. I'd really like to see Diana use this lead in order to get ahead. Now, obviously, she's playing more towards the overall kind of team competition, and getting the Zhonya's is okay because you do want to jump in, get big ult, and then Zhonya's, just so that you get that second proc of damage from the ult, which does the primary amount of damage from it. But I just really don't like this Morella, and the fact that she's gone 2 utility-based items is very rough in my opinion, since even something like a Nash's Tooth, in order to just clear more and have more auto-attack presence in a fight, or just going straight for a Rabadon's would have been way better. Now, Rabadon's is very difficult to build, but I feel like she definitely has a lead that will allow her to actually build a Rabadon's in this game. Especially considering at this stage, the Lee Sin is very heavily falling off, and he's also very tilted by the way he's playing, so we can see that coming in very, very hard. So we see that the Ginzu's is completed. The Ginzu's is completed now, which is very, very good. And she's also got a Wit 10 complete as well. So Kalista is actually very strong at this point, and if she's allowed to do damage, she can actually do a lot. Now, I think she'll probably opt to go something like a Runans now, considering she's got kind of a defensive item, well, 2 defensive items and a Ginzu's. So I would like to go to see her go something like a Runans right now, because, you know, they are fairly short range and there is multiple people that are going to come in, but they are looking to siege this Baron right now. The LSB are trying to get vision control back of this area and maybe push them away. They do manage to do it, and TF does use his ultimate to reposition, just so that he can get in this kind of jungle entrance so that they can't run towards their base. This is going to stop them just walking straight out. Unless, you know, he gives up this pressure, but he's just consistently poking out with those Qs. Aphelios loses about 25% of his HP there, which, you know, is pretty rough. Again, another nice gated Q by Jace, just completely popped them. So right now, I still think this game can be anyone's. The goal difference is dead even, but DK with this strategy again, where they're, I think it was DK, or it might have been a Chinese team actually. I think it might have been EDG maybe, where you just get you back away from the area and then you just rise ult in as 5 and just burst the Baron. So really good to see. They are just going to hard win this fight. Aphelios gets a huge ultimate, and he's just going to absolutely run them down. Double stopwatch used, but it really doesn't matter. Crocker with another stop with his stopwatch too. But Camille's also just one-shot the Kalista, and now they're going to keep chasing down Summit and Fate, which they can catch him very easily. And now they're just going to die. Can actually ease in and then stopwatches instantly so he doesn't get burst by the Jace. But now we're seeing the Rise use his TP. And the Camille use their TP to go bot and just Baron buff this wave up. So they've artificially synchronized the waves to get 2 inhibs here, which is really nice to see. I don't like that they're backing away from this mid lane inhib right now, though. They're just going to try and force on this one, I guess. And they can potentially just end because everybody's down for another 10 to 20 seconds. It's very risky, though. Okay, I mean, they do pull it off, so they're very confident in this play. I mean, it was a little bit risky, but I mean, they executed it perfectly, and there was nothing they could do to actually stop it. So overall, I mean, this was DK kind of just popping off, and again, showing why they're one of the best teams in the world. But the LSB really did put up a fight, and even like as the game was looking very doomed for them in terms of their draft difference, it was very hard. Now, LSB needed to keep this early game pressure and, you know, snowball off it, because they really needed that snowball. So overall, though, pretty good game. Yeah, so let's end the YouTube video.